So this is my international outreach weekly tracker. It's a very basic place where you put the week, like in which week what happened, and it's a very simple format of input, output, outcome. That means what is the input, like how many invites we send or how many emails we sent, in-mails we sent, how many got accepted, that is the output. Outcome is the thing we want, which is the leads or the responses we got. And now I want you to focus on the number of positive leads or the lead rate and see what happens quarter on quarter. So what happened in the next quarter, this is 2023, something changed. We went from 0 replies or 0 leads to way more amount of leads. And our reply rate consistently went up. It went from almost 0%, 0.3% to almost 2%. And then what happened? In the next quarter, in fact, our accept rate also improved because our persona kind of improved and our replies also improved. And it consistently, we were generating 7-8 leads a week and our lead rate remained consistent. In the next quarter, something funny happened. We stopped doing any kind of input. We just did a bit of messaging and we still got a lot more leads. So the story over here is what happened. In 2023, I found this tool. The tool was called clay.com or persona.ai. And this tool really, it was a very big boost to me because we are a marketing agency. Our job is to find a target persona and write a message that gets a reply. Okay. And this tool, what it could do was it could understand the company we are reaching out to and it could personalize the messaging to them. And so in 2023, I started doing this tool. Basically, you would list down the company you're targeting and you could tell ChatGPT, hey, analyze this company and write a message based on what we do or what we do. And in my thing, what I help companies with is outbound marketing. So it started writing stuff that, hey, dear Salesforce, you should target VPs of marketing in B2B firms, send them well-designed direct mail, highlighting the CRM success stories, or you should identify sales manager, do podcasts, etc. So it started doing that and I thought, wow, for this thing, I had a full-time dedicated person in my agency. So the person we were paying, their full day, their role was analyze the company, write something personalized to them. And this was the message what we started sending. The message that we started sending was, here's a 3-step plan for your growth. Target this kind of people, use AI to scrape this, do this messaging. And we were targeting US companies who were in B2B, generally small companies who were founders and NRIs. While I was doing all of this, my team was saying to 2023, the funding went out from the market and everyone started to see a decline in business. And my team started to say, actually, just doing this clay thing and this AI thing, but where are the leads? Like you ask us to generate leads, where are your leads? It kind of stung me. The reason it stung me because I was doing marketing for 7 years. And what my team was kind of saying was, Akshat, you were incompetent. So it was stung, but I just bolted on and at this point we were losing clients. So this is my reply rate, what you saw in the first screen. It went from 0.10 to 0.3 to 2% to 4%. So the first bump we got was because of this AI tool, where we were sending 3 personalized outbound ideas email. Now what happened was, it was nice, like AI gave us a boost, but AI did not deliver a business outcome for us. Okay, we were using the most high-tech tool, high-tech AI, using the latest model of ChatGPT at then. But what happened over here when we almost 10x'd our reply rate was what I started doing was the output that this tool was giving, I started shortlisting the best outputs. So if ChatGPT was giving me 3 points, I started shortlisting which were the best ideas. And then I started to see a pattern and I started adding my own ideas. So you might not be able to read this prompt, but I'll share my full message on the prompt in the coming slides, so don't worry, and the slides will be online. Basically, what I started saying was, hey, ChatGPT, give me 3 ideas for this person whose title is this company is this. I told a bit about BizAmps, and I said, okay, this is the website scraped information of the company I'm targeting. And it was giving me outputs like this for different people. Different people have different outputs. And I highlighted and bolded the ones I liked. But at this point, it was what I called artificial intelligence without human intelligence. And this is where the problem was happening. I started bolding them, and I kept best of the best and added my own ideas. And what happened was I came up with a template. It was an inbuilt template, and I just used it to started sending the message. And it looked something like this. It reached out to people and said, hi, OpenAI is guessing that you might be targeting high-level executives like CIOs, CTOs, director of IT, which is very personalized and something they care about. Within healthcare and financial services company who are at the stage of considering their traditional on-premise structures to cloud-based. And then there was a whole email where I said, can I share a video? And what interesting thing happened was I started to get replies. As you see in September 2023, I started to get some replies. So over here, what actually happened was that when I combined my ideas and AI ideas, I crafted a template, an AI mail merge template with 80% fixed text, okay? And I added a new call to action, which was saying, hey, do you want to see a video? So this kind of helped me a lot. But then there was another double in my reply rate. So what happened over there? By the way, at this point, I was shocked. I was like, oh, okay, I'm a basic human. AI is super intelligent, billion-dollar thing. How can I be more intelligent than that? But this gave me some confidence, okay, if I write the template, it works. So I rewrote it once again, but I made it super crisp. And it was fixed text. But now I started focusing on something else. I'm focusing a little bit on emotions. I started focusing on their goals, the client's skeletons, and we'll talk a lot about client skeletons, and the ease by which they can reply to us. And this was a big game changer, which kind of doubled the reply rate, but starting from bottom, coming to here, it was a 10x increase in reply rate. This is my message that we sent today on LinkedIn. We target B2B NRI founders, and we consistently have 4% lead rate. The message goes, hi person, targeting CFOs or targeting their target persona in their firmographic is becoming tougher. And the reason we do that is the first line is something that they should care about. If they care about something, then they will open the message and read through. Otherwise, people will bounce back after reading the first message. Then the second interesting part was, I said, you care about this, and it is becoming tougher for you to target them because you are not just competing against your competitors, but also other indirect vendors for the same piece of the pie. All the things that I've underlined in red, AI was filling it. But rest was a hard-coded template. And at last, I was like, hey, can I share a custom strategy on how your messaging can beat and stand out against everyone? Which is something they might want. And it was a very easy call to action to say yes to. In 2024, what happened was I started using the same approach, same framework for all my clients. And all my clients were generally people who had an India team. Their founders were sitting in US or Dubai, and they were selling in the US. When I started doing this framework, I consistently started getting more leads for everyone. So I said, okay, that works. But something more interesting happened. When I was getting 10 leads a week, I had a superstar salesperson who is also in this room right now. And we started doing some personalized follow-up calls and personalized email. And what ended up happening was he was consistently getting me leads. So in the month of June and July, when we started to scale, we had 20 meetings that almost got done. And what happened now was I was like, I'm going to scale. And I'm going to scale like crazy now. Because 10 meetings, I'm going to close 2 clients every month. I'm chill. But something else, guess what happened? In one of the meetings, I remember this one meeting very distinctly. And what happened was there was this guy, a successful founder. He had a team of 500 people, mostly based in India, some in US. And they used to set up global capability centers for MNCs, a huge booming business in India. I'm like, bang on target. So this was initial one of the meeting. And what he told me was, he said, Akshat, you are selling me ChatGPT. I'm like, okay. And at that time, that was a slap on my face, or a brick hit me. I'm like, what the hell just happened? I'm like, yes, I can remember when someone went and sold Microsoft Excel, and the person he was selling Excel to, he would say, hey, this is just a calculator. Yes, Excel can do calculations, but it's a big thing. Or if someone went and sold personal computers, and the prospect would say, hey, this is just a glorified typewriter. Okay? So I thought something is wrong. I asked my salesperson, hey, no new sales meeting. Okay, and this is a change. Never a company will say no new sales meeting. I said, okay, I'll do something different. I think I need to build credibility first and base first so that this never happens to me again. Because my time is also valuable. We all have limited time. So I don't know if you can see on the screen, 4 years back I did this video with Startup Grind and 91 Spring Boot, where I was presenting to their in-house audience. And I recorded that video and put it on YouTube. And what happened was that video got me my best clients. Not only the best clients, the most price inelastic clients. The clients that would come from there will never negotiate. They would close immediately. And they will look at me and respect. They would not tell me, actually, you sell ChatGPT. So I'm like, that is interesting. So in May 2024, I did the same event in Gurgaon, but I messed up the recording. That is why you see you have a proper person who's recording over here. So I re-recorded it in my home. But I still promoted this video, and interestingly enough, I started saying to every person who I was having meeting with, hey, watch and evaluate us before the meeting and cancel the meeting if you don't feel it's a fit. Which is very opposite, because where sales people are like, I want to have a meeting. And what started to happen was, the kind of meetings I was having was a difference of night and day. The good meetings were really good. The bad meetings were really bad. Their questions were different. Their questions were very different. Their attitude was different. If something weird, it doesn't translate into B2B, but their eyes were different. The way they looked at me, the way they talked to me, everything was different about them. The person, and I realized it is because they had value visibility. When I shared the presentation with them, they could see my approach and they could size me up. If I'm smart, if I'm stupid, what am I? So they would not talk to me at disrespect. They know at which level I am. So I'm like, yeah, guess what? I cracked it. Now I have consistent meetings. I have people, great people, the right persona coming on a meeting, looking at me correctly. They're pre-sold at me. What can go wrong? I started to have long intro meetings. But what happened was 96% of didn't convert. While I was thinking, 80% won't convert, that's fine. 20% will convert. That means every 5 meetings, I'll have 1 sale. But every 25 meetings, I had 1 sale. This was off. I'm like, what the hell is happening now? So what happened was I think in that 2 quarters, I generated 200 leads for myself. I had 50 intro meetings, and I just got 2 new client projects. There's some old clients that converted, but the new clients were just 2. Worst part, there was no follow-up meetings. That means I thought, at least they will give me another meeting. And I was doing this internet fancy thing called BAM-FAM, where, hey, I'll book a meeting from a meeting. I'll go on the meeting. Hey, can we set up a meeting next week? And people are like, yeah, Akshat, we can. So they will set up a meeting next week. But they would never show up. And I was like, because of course, makes sense, because you can't force the prospect to pay you money. Now you can't force the prospect to show up. And I was like, what the hell? And where I thought my sales will go up, started to go down. But as a fluke, I was in Goa. I launched a high impact offer, a low risk offer. And it was a short 30-day pilot offer. And interestingly, what happened was, prospects started to schedule meetings with me. And this is a paradigm shift in my life. So from last 7-10 years, I've been trying to schedule meetings with the prospects. Now prospects towards the end of the meeting was saying, Akshat, can we set up a meeting next week? I'm like, what the hell just happened? And I'll show you what the offer was. By the way, I read this book called $100 Million Offer 3-4 years back, or 2-3 years back. But the problem with knowledge is, until you experience knowledge, your behavior doesn't change. But once you experience the knowledge, once you experience something good, things change. So the offer was, I said to my clients, new client offer, I'll double your reply rate in 30 days. I have this new technology called delivery insights, using your ex-client delivery insights, which we're going to talk about. And it will be a 4-week program where you just need to set up 4 meetings with me. I'll build your sales and marketing backbone in something called Client Story Grid. I will make a message for you. And if you like the message, I'll set up a clay table or AI table, and then you can execute it. But the key thing was this: performance guarantee. I said, if you don't like it, of course, you can take a refund, which everyone says. But the problem with prospects is prospects do not want to take a refund. This is a very big issue. So I said, I'll make it easier for you to take a refund. So double your reply rate means I'll increase your reply rate by 100%. If your reply rate just increases by 40%, you just pay me for the 40%, 60% you don't have to pay. And it's a very easy conversation. It's an Excel sheet. You say, Akshat, see, it just increased X%. what can I do? Stats cannot lie. Now they tell you a story. And if you don't want to take a refund or credit it forward, you do the double. The idea was you just take this decision of A, paying me, clear the invoice and book 4 meetings, and your messaging problem is solved. There was some condition like we'll check your messaging, but if you were doing conference outreach, so a lot of my clients, because they're selling in the US, they do a lot of trade shows. Trade show is something they will spend $50,000 in one event. And in that event, what I said was that they used to do outreach, and conferences, sometimes they got money out of it, ROI sometimes were bad. So if a founder lost $50,000 in a weekend, it hurts. It hurts them. So I said, what I'll do is I'll triple your reply rate pre-conference. So before you go into the conference, I'll set up meetings. And everyone already does that, but I'll triple the reply rate. And when I gave this and everyone started to book meetings with me, and I started to reflect on all this, all lessons just shined on me. And the lessons were that we live in a trust-poor and information-rich world. You don't trust me, I don't trust you. But there's never been more information. So it's a very weird world we live in. And when sales struggle, sales do not struggle because we lack rigor or sales skill. Because when I talk to founders have sales teams. They say, Akshat, my team does not have the rigor. My team does not have the sales skills. This is a very common objection they say. I don't think that's the case. I think it is because of bad marketing. And I'll give you an example. All the big companies, all the large corporate companies in India that makes the most money, that we all envy, they don't have great salespeople at all. What they have is, they have a great brand name and their product works. If it is GeoFiber works. So their salespeople can screw up. Their salespeople don't matter, their marketing matters. And you can fix your marketing by leveraging what I call delivery insights. So bad marketing can be fixed by properly showcasing and leveraging your delivery insights. And what is delivery insights? Delivery insights is the insights that you get from client delivery. So when you actually deliver the service or the product, people start telling you stuff that they have never told you. Okay, I'll give you an example because I work with a lot of companies that have marketing teams. Every time I talk to a founder, they're like, Akshat, what is the criteria to fire my CMO? I can't take that decision. Okay, if the CMO is letting me down or I'm letting the CMO down. And it never comes out before they pay the invoice. Because before they pay the invoice, they hold the information. After they pay the invoice, things change. And there are power struggles in companies that are happening. There are issues that happen. So the moment you deliver, the moment you enter someone's house, you come to know the true story. And that is your marketing. And from there, you build the whole funnel. And what happens is, if you are a founder, you don't say you are fired. If you are a CMO, you don't get fired if you know these things. So when I was going through this story, and from my client experience, I realized there are just 5 bottlenecks. So generally, my clients, when they do a sale, their lifetime value of a customer is $100,000 on an average. So even if they're selling something for $20,000 a year, if the client stays with them for 5 years, it comes out to be $100,000. That's the average my client is like. I realized there are 5 problems and their underlying reason and experience gap. Experience gap, skill set, whatever you want to call it, but I usually call it experience gap. The very first problem is low leads. And it's a problem, but the underlying reason is the pitch. If the pitch is irrelevant, unpersonalized, long or high friction call to action, it will not work. I'll give you an example. When a company does a startup, they hire interns or they hire freshers. Any fresher can go on LinkedIn, click a button and send a message. Any fresher can send an email. That is generally the medium, or go on Twitter and make a post. It's not sending the message, it's what you say in the message that matters. So the way to fix it is, what I'll show you is client story grid. You take the client story grid, which has these delivery insights, you personalize the pitch, and you do a micro ask. What I did not tell you initially, all my clients started to get leads, but leads were ghosting on them. So you can get leads, and there's a very big problem with marketing agencies and consultants. They get clients leads, but their leads don't work. Why? Because like buyer's remorse, there is something called replier's remorse. Replier's remorse is, that when a lead replies to you, they say the salesperson who is selling to me, whatever he's selling to me won't be valuable. See, everyone had a sales experience where most salespeople waste your time. So people avoid them. So in a weak movement, you might get someone to reply to you. But, they will not keep engaging with you. And that is when they ghost you. And the trick to solve this is, like when you get a reply, show effort. Show effort and unique value. Then what happens is what happened with me, you start to have meetings, but meetings are of bad quality. And the problem with that is because salespeople start collecting validation, not dollars. If you have salespeople, their job is called rejection. They get rejected 24/7. Leads ghost on you. People don't pick up their calls. They are said no multiple times. When a good prospect comes on the call, what this person starts to do is salespeople go on the call, they show the best value, and this prospect says, hey, good work. You are doing really good. Have this happened with you guys? Like someone said, hey, you are doing great. Yeah, this looks nice. But they never showed up. Why don't they show up? And prospect is very smart. They give you validation. They don't give you dollars. So the moment you are collecting more validation than dollars, you have a problem in your sales funnel. The idea is show 20% of your core value before the meeting. If you remember my thing, I shared the video. What I'll tell in this presentation will be 20% of everything I know. It can't be more than that. So just show 20% of the value before the meeting so they respect you. So the validation is collected before the meeting, and when you go on the meeting, you start collecting dollars. Next, what happens is you start to have nice meetings, but sales isn't closing. This is a really sad thing. And it's a very easy fix. The easy fix is you generally have a high-risk pilot. See, everything, especially when we sell in India or outside, is the deal we say to the client is, you commit to us, you commit 90 days to us and some money to us, and we'll try our level best to make it work. And what the commitment, the prospect here is, I lose, he does not lose. And the thing is inverted. Inverted have a short shared risk offer for a proof of concept. Now you do this offer after you do a deep situation analysis. And now what happens is salespeople don't do deep situation analysis. And why they don't do deep situation analysis? Because they don't have leads. Because when you don't have leads, you're very scared. You try to be a good boy. And you don't want to scare the lead away. You're like, this is the right person, just buy my stuff. You will get screwed up. After all of this is happening, my clients say, my team isn't following up. Everything is fine, my team isn't following up. The reason for this is, it's a founder's problem. He has never invested. If you just hired one person for follow-up, it will solve the problem. It's an investment problem. Because the moment you would have hired a person, he would have like templates for each stage of the funnel. But you never invested, so no one made it. And salespeople are busy with new leads. And because you never went to the next stage, the next stage of this is retargeting ads, email drip. And the answer to this is just invest here. And to my founders, you invest here because you are already investing $20,000. Sorry, $100,000. My clients have one person in the US. They have one full-time person, the salesperson in the US, which costs them $50,000 annually. What happens is when you give someone $50,000 annually, there's a $50,000 markup in advertising cost, in their sales navigator cost, 100 type of cost. They're investing $100,000 in sales and marketing. If my client does not have a US salesperson, they have 5 people in India, which also comes out to be $100,000 because the salaries is $50,000 of 5 people in India. What they don't realize, they are paying $20,000 of cost compounding. And I'll give you an example. You hire a marketing agency and the marketing agency doesn't work. You're probably paying them, let's say, $2,000 a month. You give them 5 months, they don't generate leads. You get, the leads are not generated. You maybe lost $10,000. Fine. You had a loss of $10,000 as a founder. The problem comes when you get leads and the leads are not ghosting. Because now you are keeping that agency for 1 year, 1.5 years. Then you have someone, a salesperson who's engaging with them. And when the meetings are of bad quality, now you have lost $60,000. So as you go further, as your hope increases, your investment also increases. This is the funnel that we have. That is like each stage marks to a color and the funnel you will see. And what it is if you have leads, how leads eventually go into a down to when they start to buy. And at each stage, there is a loss. Here's the interesting thing. Now, you might not be able to see it, but I'll put the slides online. Each stage of the funnel exactly maps to a task. So I'll speak it out because you can't see. It is outcome, output, input. The idea is, if you do the input, you will get the output, you will get the outcome. This is different stages, from lead to meeting to successful meeting to negotiation to sales close. If you remember the stats I showed in the very first slide, what happens is your outputs and outcomes map to a Excel table that tells you how each part of the funnel is working and which task is pending. So this is what I call the department view. So the companies who have large sales department, they want a view something like this. And you can forget all of this because I'll share the project plan. So this is my claim. In the next 100 minutes, I'll try to add $100,000 of enterprise value. And this is for founders who have a marketing team. In fact, most marketers have spent a lot of money in old marketing. What I'll do is, starting now, my goal is to basically add $1,000 per minute of value on how you can leverage the old marketing spend and how you can save marketing spend and how you can actually make money. Now, the biggest problem most people have is leads. How many people have a problem they want more leads? Okay. Wow. Many people want more leads. Now, when founders want more leads, I say you're thinking in the right direction. And the right direction is because it is a business of order multiplier. Effectively, if you have a funnel that can consume leads, if you can 10x your leads, you can 10x your business. The problem happens is when the leads come, the funnel is not ready to convert that lead into dollars. Now, what is the crux of leads for outbound? I'm saying when you're reaching out to people on LinkedIn or email, in outbound, there's a 3-part thing. You figure these 3 parts out, you crack the code. Relevant pitch, low friction call to action, personalization. So this is a demo of Clay. You can see I have basically listed the target persona that I want to reach out to. I will copy them. I'll go into my tool. I'll just paste them. It could be 2 or 20,000 or 20 million. Like a spreadsheet, I paste them. I've just pasted name and company. The tools these days can go find the person's LinkedIn profile, as you see, and everything about their LinkedIn profile. Within a second, they have figured out the person. All the details. The tool I'm using is clay.com. I'll share all the tools later. You can see even old company data you can see. Then I've asked for this company, analyze the situation. What do they sell? Who do they sell to? What is the average order value? So AI agent went on the internet and it gave me this response. Okay. So it told me this is the answer, this is the reasoning, and the steps it took. Okay. So I visited this website. I read through all this, and what it costed me, it was like 0.2 cents, something like that. Then I took all that information and prompted ChatGPT to write a message which says, "Hi Ritesh, targeting CTOs and quality assurance leaders. In tech, enterprises is becoming tougher because you're not just competing against sauce labs, but cloud testing services." So but for different person, it wrote a different thing. "Hi Vijay, targeting CHROs, etc." Okay. And it goes all the way. You can make an invite note, pre-meeting, post-meeting, pre-invoice, up till onboarding. So this is, and I'll show you a prompt of one. So you can edit column like how you edit a formula. All the information gets here. Then this is a basic prompt, how you prompt ChatGPT. You can ask ChatGPT to also create prompts. So prompting is not a problem. But I'll give you the prompt later. Okay. What you just saw to figure out leads is a basic AI outreach process table. In the very first step, we scraped the prospect's information. In the very second step, we searched custom information. And then using both of them, I made a pitch that was relevant to them, what they cared about. I have not done this, I have not shown it, but you can initiate the outreach. You can send the email directly from there. You can send the LinkedIn message directly from there. You can send it to your HubSpot, CRM, whatever you want. Now, you can do it for 10,000 prospects, or you can use triggers. Using triggers means, if let's say you want to reach out to people when someone posts a job, when someone raises funding, when someone changes a job. So you can use triggers also to kickstart this workflow. And any point you can stop the workflow. It's not all connected. One thing we used over there was AI search agents. So how many ever have used Perplexity? Most of them. Okay, how many have not used Perplexity? Few. So for the few who have not used, it's basically a Google with the brain. Basically, you ask it a question like, hey, what are the main clients of Ogilvy, ad agency in US? And it will list all the clients like it's Verizon, Audi, etc. So you just type it a question, it goes the internet, it like a virtual assistant, it searches the answer and it gives you the answer. Or let's say how many warehouses of Amazon are there in India. The reason we use search agents is because of two main reasons. One is message personalization. When we're trying to personalize a message, we need to call out something very specific to them. So Amazon has over here like 43 million cubic feet of storage in India. Now this thing will only work on Amazon. It will not work on Flipkart, it will not work on anything else. So this is something maybe we want to mention in the email to make them look, we have researched. And hey, you manage 43 million feet of storage. We have robots that can manage 1 million square feet at a cost of $10 an hour. So now you make personalization and relevance together. Or you can do for TAM scoring. Message personalization, I've shown you some part. TAM scoring is you list all your companies down and you score how likely are they from buy to you based on your previous historic data. How do we do that? I'm going to show it to you. Don't worry. Now, but also there's some limitations of AI or AI agents. For example, they're good for web research. They cannot draft emails. You can't go to Perplexity and say, hey, write a cold email to head of Lenovo and ask them to buy my stuff. It will do that, but it will be bad. It will not get you results. We care about results. It is not ideal for searching LinkedIn because the way LinkedIn is structured, A, they block. Second, their user experience is multiple. Sometimes it's a post, sometimes a directory, sometimes a search result. So there are multiple pages. So LinkedIn, these are good for scraping all the internet but LinkedIn. And these are not always accurate. These are 95% accurate, but not 100%. Now, many times especially when I talk to founders, they're like, oh, tell me the tools. If I just get to know the tools. So I'll tell you what the tools is. To play the AI outreach game at scale, the one tool I was using Clay.com, but it's not Clay.com. It's basically an AI spreadsheet. A spreadsheet with AI superpowers. And they're competitors. They're persona that do exactly the same thing or people. And they generally cost $150 to $350 a month. Then you have OpenAI, which is a large language model. And you have competitors, Gemini, Claude. Every software is commoditized. Then if you want to send the email or LinkedIn message, you can use tools like La Growth Machine, which is channel sequencer, or Get Sales Lemlist, which is generally $200 a month to do it at any scale. I'm talking scale. I'm talking if you're trying to do for 1,000 people or 10,000 people. Generally, if you come out, the cost to play this game at scale is anywhere $500 a month. You can find alternatives or lifetime deals on those websites. So it's not cheap. And this is Fiverr.com. So if you go on Fiverr.com, you will find 200 vendors that will set up your Clay.com for less than 5,000 rupees. So they're very commoditized, right? Some people are smiling over here because they're like, oh, these are our competitors selling for 5,000 rupees. I'm selling for 5 lakh rupees. It is getting commoditized. In fact, it's getting free. Anyone know who over here knows ChatGPT operator? ChatGPT operator is, you say, hey, ChatGPT, set up my HubSpot or set up my CRM. It will take control of your mouse and it will do the stuff. It's very similar if you have an employee. Over here, someone prompted it and it is using the browser and ChatGPT is setting up the tool. Any tool in the world, ChatGPT can set up. So first they were writing the content. Now that they are setting up software, there's no digital labor required. What my future vision I understand is like AI agents like ChatGPT operator will do all the work. Okay, they will do the work, and these people, these gig workers or virtual assistants will do the quality assurance. It might, in your industry, if you are providing services, your service will be done by ChatGPT. Your job will become to quality assure. A lot of my clients are service clients as well. We are already seeing this in content writing industry. In content writing, what happens is people have fired 100 content writers. They have just kept 5. All the work is done by ChatGPT, but there's still 5 content writers who just overlooks the AI creative output. What that means is the cost of getting any digital task, which basically whole Indian economy relies on, is going down. Okay, that's a point of worry. I am very afraid. The way I think of it, we have been here before. This is a factory where they have fired everyone and all machines do the work. I'll give you a framework on how to think it, but it's a pyramid. It's capital written over here, labor written over here. It is a leverage. So capital is a leverage, labor is a leverage. If you have capital, you can get shit done. If you have labor, you can get stuff done. And then on top is code and media. If you write good enough code, you can make the next Google or Facebook. The biggest companies have code. That is why they make the most money. Media is Kim Kardashian, Kylie Jenner, Mr. Beast. They don't have any assets. They're just entertainment. And they control the media. And that's why they get capital and that's why they get labor. So it's easy to go from up to down. If you have code and media, you can get capital. That's why VCs invest in this. What happened was capital bought automation. Automation finished labor. This happened in physical media. We all work in digital media. AI compute is laptop labor, which is we all do. We click a bunch of buttons, we think we have some brains, we move mouse here, there, and we get money. Capital will get compute and it will take away labor. Okay, so our jobs. So the good thing is, in this revolution, 2 people survived. The 2 people who survived, in fact, thrived, was producers and best managers. Producers were the people who produced the cars, the owners. Managers were the people who knew the supply chain, knew everything part of the process. Like if you had to make a reliable engine or a quality paint, they knew that stuff. So managers knew the whole process. They delivered the output, be it reliable engine, quality paint. They survived and they thrived. Same thing happened in content writing industry, which are precursor of our industry. Producers knew the markets and the cost of output. They know, like, okay, this car will sell for 20 lakh rupees or $40,000 and the cost to create it is this. Because they knew this, they knew where to deploy leverage or machines for cost savings and scale. And once they knew this equation, they went raising capital. My guess is that the best deployers of AI or AI compute will acquire the most resources, aka become rich. When I talk to clients, the biggest problem with them is they get in a FOMO trap. They start investing without any business logic. I remember the story of Metaverse came on board and Accenture or some company went and bought $5 million or $50 million of real estate on Metaverse. In 2020, it was pets.com. So FOMO trap is real with AI. What you do with AI is make sure it has measurable business outcome. It converts into dollars. Or effectively, it is going towards converting into dollars. So be careful. Like we as a consultant, of course, we help our companies with all of this, but you can also help companies there. Another way to think of AI is, because we'll be using AI a lot. Let's say everyone in this room, I gave everyone 50 earth drilling machines. So you have 50 earth drilling machines, okay? Now, who will make the most money? If whole world gets 50 earth drilling, who will make the most money? Who wins? And how will they win? And my guess is, any guesses? You can't sell the drilling machine is free. Everyone gets 50 drilling machines. You can drill for oil, gold, anything. Who will win this game? The person who consistently knows where to drill and for what will make the most money. The person who knows where to drill for gold versus oil versus lithium and why should we drill over there, that person will make money because they will directly go there and start drilling. They will know where to deploy the tools. You get an AI tool, where to deploy, so it comes down to insights. You can't ask AI. You can't say, hey, AI, I have 50 drilling machines, tell me where. Because if you do that, it will go on the internet. Everyone will get the same answers from the SEO blogs, right? Your insights, the things that happen behind closed doors, the things people are taboo not talking about. Your edge is the insights from the real world on-ground observations. Okay, so the questions I ask then CEOs and CMOs is, then what should AI do? What is the highest impact pitch? You have this. What is the highest impact pitch? And this is where they go blank. I ask them, what should the AI scrape? What info should it scrape on your target prospect and why? What should the LLM, large language model, do? What message it should write and why? And okay, so let's say you figure out a message. Let's say you figure out a message that this is the great message. Now my question is, will you send the same message to Walmart? Will you send the same message to Reliance Group? They have multiple companies. Apple buys everything. Reliance buys everything. Walmart buys everything. If you're selling to a chief digital officer, will it be the same message to everyone? You get one shot. The key thing with B2B is a single shot game. In B2C, what happens is you can have 100 creatives, put it on Facebook and test it. Multiple shots. B2B is single shot game, maybe 2 shots. People block you. People are ruthless with your time. So it's a single shot you get. Basically what you're saying is I need to figure out message market fit for everyone. I need to figure out what message gets me a sale at Walmart, Reliance, Apple. How do you figure it out? What I realized was I came up with this thing which I basically sell is market stories grid. By the way, do anyone know what a buyer persona is? Buyer persona. Marketers know. Has it ever helped? I've been listening about this buyer's persona. In the history of my life, never have buyer persona helped me. Never has this helped me with messaging. Never has it helped me get leads. It's a good thing I show to my client. They're happy, but I'd never get anything. So I came up with something different. I came up with the market story grid because, see, my job is, with my clients, I get 30 days. I really need to figure shit out in 30 days. If I don't, they fire me. I'm not a salaried employee of them. I really need to know what works and what works right now. I need to get there fast. So I came up with this thing. It's a very simple Excel spreadsheet. It's a 3-column stuff. What I say is, I go to the client and say, hey, list your X clients on one side and tell me when the client came to you. What is their declared problem? For example, in my case, clients come to me and say, hey, Akshat, my email delivery got hit and my leads are not coming. That is why I'm coming to you. This is their internal reason why they're coming to you. Or they might say, Akshat, my team doesn't have rigor and we want to scale. This is the declared problem. The real problem is, it is never the email delivery. It is the leadership. Their head of marketing does not have the skill set. So what is happening is, the head of marketing only knew one skill, how to blast emails. Google cracked down on it. He had no other skill set. This is what they will not tell me, and this is what I figure out the moment I get in. He says, my team does not have rigor. Basically what he's saying, I don't get involved in marketing. Because the founder gets involved in marketing. When the founder starts putting attention somewhere and a team gets to the work, he does not want to involve. And there is a trauma behind it. The trauma with the founder is the founder did 150 in-mails. So COVID happened. He sent 150 in-mails to the target persona he wanted. And what happened was he got no replies. He spent 1 week. He got no replies. That silence was shouting at him. So there was a silence from the market that was shouting at him. And that silence was saying, hey, dear founder, you don't know shit. And that's a trauma. So to overcome that trauma, his coping response was, let me just hire marketing agencies. Let me just hire salespeople. And if it doesn't work, it's their problem. You start identifying the root cause. And the reason it is, because when we start building the message, this is the first line, this is the second line, this is the third line. And it starts hitting people's nerve. And now you start to get replies. Then what you do is you map it with the firmographic data. Firmographic data is, these kind of problems come in companies that have 280 employees. And they have, let's say, 20 people in the US. This kind comes in 150 employees and they have these many people in Dubai or whatever the market is. And which kind of people they are targeting. So once you map this out, you start to have a worldview, a hard-hitting emotional worldview of your market. Many clients come to me and say, hey, Akshat, something changed in my client's business. That's why when they bought me. I say, okay, when you generated the lead, when the client came to you, note that number down. Write that number down. And go back on the internet history and see what happened on their LinkedIn page. Were they hiring? What changed in their business that 6 months after they reached out to you? Because then you can figure out all the people who are having this. For example, in my case, the moment a company publishes a case study, 6 months after, it's much more likely that they will reply to my message. Because making a case study is hard. Making a case study and publishing means they want more business. And the idea they came up with, to get more business, they should publish case study. Okay? Or they did a rebranding. The moment they do the rebranding, they are going through a PR cycle. Within 8 months is a much more higher likelihood that they will talk to me. Let me tell you the truth about marketing. Marketing does not have any credibility in the sense, It's not a professional service. Professional services are where you have to have a degree to become something. To become a lawyer, we are not professional services. Everyone over here is a social media marketer. What that does is it creates garbage. So everyone is saying, I can do stuff. And when a new marketer comes on board, he does not understand the business, but he wants to be like, man, I know stuff. And what he does is he goes on the website, he does not understand the client's business or his own market. He takes all that information, puts it in ChatGPT because ChatGPT is now the tool, and garbage comes out. So what happens is the website is garbage. They take that garbage, they put it in ChatGPT, they come up with messaging, and then they start blasting that messaging, and here comes the downfall. This is the job of the founder, by the way. This is the founder's job, and marketers need to push the founder to do this. Because see, this information only the client tells to the founder. An executive tells the problems to another executive, they will not tell to a junior. So when you have this emotional data, this avoids garbage in and garbage out. And even if you do large scale SEO operations, like we have clay.com, they have in SEO, they have air ops. They make 10,000 blogs a day. Huge operation. When you have this thing, you prompt your SEO content operations with this also. Now, this is the first thing we do for clients. Okay. Now you have the worldview. Now imagine for your own business. You are writing a message to Elon Musk. You get one email. You write one email to Elon Musk. What will be that email contain? Let's say you draft one cold email for any one of Elon Musk's startup. The condition is you only have one shot. You can't do follow-ups. What will you write? You will really get your message straight. Because you know he doesn't bullshit. Or whatever your favorite entrepreneur is, you can put their name. And the founder should write it, and why the founder should write it, the founder knows the market. He has 100 client stories. He knows the motives. He knows the linguistics that the founder uses. Once you have this, you now have a message that works, and now you give that message to the intern. Now the intern can generate leads. This is how the flow happens. Generally, most of my clients have multiple agencies. So what we tell them is when you hire a new marketing agency, you take that Excel sheet, which has the delivery insights, and how do you turn it into marketing gold? Ask the new marketer or the agency to read the market story. Great. The moment he reads it, ask them to interview the founder. Marketers have this quality that they can write very good copy, and they have third-person perspective. So when they interview the founder, they can come up with really nice copywriting, things that they can say they're hard-hitting. So the moment a new agency interviews the founder after looking at the market story, they get really good ad ideas. They get really good email ideas. The moment you do that, every marketing agency starts to work. Because the problem marketing agency fails is because they don't have good data that you have not given them. This is a sorry observation, but underperforming salaried marketers cannot interview the founder. When a marketer is in the company for a long time and he has not performed, there's baggage involved. He will not ask founders difficult questions. The reason he will not ask founder difficult questions because the founder will say, you are asking me this question today? What were you doing 5 years back? Next thing you know, he's fired. And when you're making that table, start with your biggest and your most profitable clients. Why? You want to uncover whale bait. They fill up your stomach the most. You see their trigger, what happened in their past that they hired you. You figure those triggers out and then you keep an eye on them. There's a formula how you crack it. Let's say you get the insights, which is just one variable. And there are multiple variables to what I call finding the message market fit. The denominator is market saturation, offer market saturation. So for example, most of my clients sell IT services. The most competitive, red ocean, no USP industry. And there are a lot of noise about, okay, we can change the world, you just tell us your problem. The way to counteract is founder active insights. Second is resources. Now, founder insights can exist. But if you don't have email mailboxes to send, if you don't have money to spend on AI, you can't generate leads. You can generate some leads, but you need to have, marketing is a money game and a margins game. So better get your margins straight if you want to play it. So these are resources, your email inboxes, your AI cost, your ad cost. Last is your copywriting and operation skills. Copywriting and operation skills is how good of a copy you can write. If your copy sounds very bad, you will not get replies. Operations is when you're doing large scale, when you have multiple teams, how do you do the division of labor? How do you make sure everyone is doing quality assurance work? How do you manage multiple people? How do you review their work in very short time? That process is operations, which I'll show to you. And another denominator is industry lifetime value. Whatever a customer is worth to you is similarly worth to your competitor. So if my average client's lifetime value is like $100,000, their competitors also are fighting for the same $100,000. So now, if the market is very saturated, like IT services with the deal size go to $1 million, and the LTV is very high, you need to make sure your upper thing is straight, otherwise it will not work. This is the mathematical equations. Now people ask me, what are some saturated market? Any kind of IT services, that includes me, marketing agency. XMS is learning management system, restaurant management system, hospital management system. Where there is a system of records, that is XMS. AI agent for X, voice agent for hospitals, voice agent for real estate. AI agents are cluttered. So this is all red ocean. And the job of the founder is to bring the people to over here. So where to fish? In the blue ocean. Your resources is number of boats you have in the blue ocean. Your skills is how well you can pick out the fish. So I'll very quickly do a mathematical equation, so thought exercise. Let's say your offer market saturation is 80%. Let's say you sell AI agent for X. You spend $80,000 a year on your team or your marketing. You have 50% copywriting skills and 20% founders involved, which is never the case. I'll tell you the truth. Either the founder is involved 0% or the founder is involved 50%. Either he's a micromanager or he's a non-existent person. So, but I'll say 20%. And let's say your lifetime value is $20,000. When you figure this math equation out, you basically get one client every 6 months, or you barely break. To do this thing faster, first of all, understand product market fit is not message market fit, is not sales marketing fit. For example, in my industry, my clients just want leads. Hey, Akshat, can you give me a paper lead model? But if I say it in a cold email, I don't get replies. Because that offer is saturated. The noise, that paper lead model, when you say it in a cold email model, it doesn't work. So product market fit is there, but when I say it in a cold email, they don't respond. So you need to realize that about your business. If the founder does more review of messaging, it works. If you have more resources, more mailboxes, more OpenAI credits, more database tools, advertising, it works. If you add a devil's advocate to stress test the messaging, it works. So basically to my founders, this is the message. If it is not toilet paper in pandemic, the co-founder's role is non-negotiable. This is the lifeblood of a business and this is the founder. Because you cannot delegate something that has never proven. If marketing has never got you money, you can't delegate it because that does not exist as a system to be delegated. By the way, it's not delegation, it's abdication. And it's not abdication, it's punishment for the team because you can't figure shit out, so you tell it to your team. It's strategic neglect for the business. Best marketing angles hit a prospect nerve, and when do the client's hidden skeletons are revealed? When they pay you. Then you figure out power politics is happening. So after they pay you, you get the delivery insights. And sometimes clients even are unknown to their own problems, or it's embarrassing to the clients, they don't tell it to everyone. So because you know the company's strengths and prospect sphere, you can make pilot offer. Similar to the offer I showed you, I knew where my strength is, which is messaging. My prospect fear is that marketing doesn't work. Combined it. I got the pilot offering that got me clients. I know great founders don't have time. If you are a founder, you don't have time. All my founders call me on Sunday. I know this. So I empathize with founders, but it is worth $100,000. So you figure out, dear founder who's watching in the camera, figure out the time. So what it translates to is basically if you spend half day a week, that is like, let's say Friday first half just on marketing, with your marketing team, it will work. The problem with the founder is the founder who abdicate to their team, what the team starts to do is they do a quick meeting pitch where they go on the person and say, hey, we have this IT service. Can we have a quick meeting? And you know what happens? Yes, if you send 10,000 messages, you get 0.1% of them to say yes, but you will burn your market. And no marketer cares about your market, only founders care about the market. The concept I'm going to introduce to you is called the WinWire. And this is what the delivery insights is based on. WinWire is a data link between the latest delivery insights and marketing communication. So this is your market story grid. So the person who is actually delivering value on the ground, the person who is doing the videography over here, he knows the truth. He knows, sir, they are unorganized. They are the one who is delivering the core value. Marketer is not. But the person who is working on the ground does not have marketing or advertising skills. On the other hand, we have marketers who add no value, just create noise, like me, but they have advertising skills or marketing skills. What you want to do is you want to connect them.
So whenever a client delivery happens, you go to the delivery person and you say, what was their problem? What did we fix? Why was this problem coming? Tell me the dirty secrets. You take that data, you say, give it to the marketer wordsmiths it, now it starts to hit the prospect's nerve. This is called the win wire. That is, anytime you have a victory in the delivery, that's the opportunity for your marketing. And that basically adds a row. Every time this happens, it becomes a row in the market story grid, which is basically a database of win wires. And when anyone say what is marketing operations or what is revenue operations, the operation excellence is this. You take a big concept and you can just put it in a simple sheet. And this is the win wire concept. You take this idea, you convert it into a message and you convert it into a prompt. And every time you give that prompt to an intern, he can generate leads. So this becomes an asset. And this is what we do for our clients as well. Interesting story. This is third wave coffee right over here in Sector 7. I was in Chandigarh and I met a design freelancer. And what this design freelancer started to say was, he sends 10,000 cold emails. Like, interesting, you're a design person. You're sending cold emails for business, okay. I went to Bangalore and my sister was looking for a job. And his husband was an entrepreneur. And she said, I am also sending cold emails. I'm like, okay, that's weird. Worst thing happened. I had a call with a boy. He was a medical student, not even engineering, medical student. He was sending 100,000 cold emails. When you look in your market, like stock market or something, when things are happening very quickly, hammer is about to come down. So this will happen with AI as well. But in June 2024, Google and Microsoft cracked down hard on cold email deliverability. Very difficult. It went from requiring one mailbox to send 100 cold emails, plus no operation. You did not have a person who does the operation of making new mailboxes, connected to the email software, etc. To taking 7 mailboxes. It was 7x more cost, more headache to deliver 100 emails in 2024. Basically what I'm saying is, if you don't act fast enough on trends, you pay a 7x bill. So you build your pipeline before the next 7x AI bill comes to you. Everyone pays bill. You either pay postpaid, you either pay prepay. So the same thing, I realized that 7x is a trend in marketing. In LinkedIn, what happened was, in LinkedIn, in 2019, you could send 100 invites a day. Today, you cannot send more than 100 invites a week. There was a 7x penalty in 2021. So in 2026, AI personalization won't be as effective. As a business owner, if you skip 2, 3, or 4 of these trends, your competitor is, you are down in the gutter. How many of here has a database of all the prospects that they want to reach out to? So most of my clients generally has a target market of 100,000 companies that are reaching out. And they have a very big thing, Akshat, how do I prioritize it? This is what we call total addressable market situation guess or scoring. And this also comes from market story grid insights. Basically, the higher lead score, the more they invest in a particular lead. And I'll give you a demo. I just have the URLs of the target company. I paste the URLs. Like an Excel sheet could be 20,000. I just paste it to. It will go figure out the revenue of the company. So this company is, let's say, $250 million, 87. And then it will also figure out the business structure because I prompted it. Why? Because sometimes revenue can be wrong on the internet. So I really care about what is the business scale of that company. This is a client workflow, by the way. One of the client is doing this live. It checks for jobs. What jobs this company has, because that tells me where the company is investing or has huge marketing departments. Then I take those jobs and I convert into job insights to figure out which technology that company is using. Which jobs what they are focusing on. If they have any tech news or if they have any news on new features that have they released. Again, all done by AI agents. What is the growth of the company, right? So you can see it has figured out the company, you click on it. It will tell you the growth of the company, how many employees were 1 month ago, how many employees were X month ago. And all of this, it calculates a lead score. So my companies who have $100,000 companies, I can, within a day, sort them out. Okay, this is the company you focus on, this is not the company you focus on based on your past revenue details. So this is the sales scenario. Sales scenario is like this company, what is the employee growth, etc. Basically, sales scenarios we give to the salespeople so that they can see the account at the glance. So this is how AI is getting used. But AI does not work without insights. So I've given you how to figure out your insights, how to use AI. how do you know if you're making progress? So you have this insights, you know the formula, you know the AI, you know the tools. You basically make a spreadsheet. This is the LinkedIn spreadsheet. Your weekly task that you give to your salespeople, you just add it as comments. So that you review this weekly, you add the task that you give to your team as comments. And every time you have a new initiative, let's say you're just doing LinkedIn, now you're doing email. Now you have a CRM going. You add it as columns. So now let's say I want cost, figure out cost per lead. So I can do, okay, I'm spending, $500 a week. What is the cost per lead? How many leads I got divided by the money I'm spending? So every initiative can be done as a column. So this is where the data comes in. Data, input, output, then I go to the next channel. And you put comments, and you can see comments. Many times companies ask me, actually, do I have enough people or do I have more people, or which people are bad or good? When we work with C-suite, this is how we do the marketing management bandwidth. Marketing management bandwidth is basically, this is the org chart, but actually a functional org chart. So imagine the founder sitting over here. This is the LinkedIn department. And let's say 7 columns of that is with one person. If that is working fine, that means that person is working fine and his bandwidth is okay. You don't need more people. But let's say you go over here. This is managed by a different person, let's say advertising department, and the stats are really bad. That means there either you have a skill set problem or you have bandwidth problem. That means here you have to hire a person, and here you have a skill set problem or a management bandwidth problem. This is a visual representation of all marketing and every sub-department in different colors. So green is a LinkedIn department, this is data department, this is quality assurance department. So department comes up here.
Audience question, how to build my full market database in one go?
You can go on Apollo, or what I personally, this is my favorite. I go on LinkedIn, Sales Navigator. I don't go on people. I go on accounts. I go on accounts. I put the filter like, this is the kind of company I want. This is the team size, this is the department. And I go to a vendor called Scrapely. Karthik, which is the new vendor we are using, you remember? Huh? Phantom Buster, you're using your own LinkedIn accounts to scrape, na? You don't want to use your own LinkedIn account because we're scraping. See, we do operations, it is 100,000 people we're reaching out to, or 200,000. When you start scraping that amount, your LinkedIn account gets banned. All my clients work at scale. You use Scrapely, Boomerang. There's a company called Boomerang, Indian guy. Both guys are Indian, surprisingly. India is a very big market for B2B. You go to something like that, I think they will charge you like 10,000 rupees and scrape 100,000 companies. They will give you the description of the company. You put it in Clay. You go to Clay and say, okay, hey Clay, go and figure out what does this company do, or what is their services. You figure out what data you want. So let's say we work on B2B, right? So we scrape the data. So when we scrape LinkedIn data, we get both B2B and B2C companies. B2C companies are useless for us. So what we do is we take the description, we go into ChatGPT in the next column, okay, read the description and categorize if they're B2B, B2C. If they're B2B, then we create a shortlist and then we start the marketing. So, and then we put an AI agent, okay, this is the company and they're a B2B company. AI agent go figure out who their founder is.
Yeah. So essentially you use Sales Navigator and you look for a candidate.
Here's the trick. Your prospects will change. If let's say you're selling to director of IT, they will change the job. The company will never change.
Audience questions, how to pitch IT services.
First of all, in the market saturation, you are at 100%. I'll give you an example. I had a client, he sells IT services, right? He met a pharmacy chain. The CIO told me, in the pharmaceutical section, what happens is, when someone comes and wants to buy Xanax, you can't give it to them. You have to take the prescription, you have to take a photo of it, and you have to make a note. Inventory management is extremely important. This was a high income country. So there's this whole, and this is only for pharmaceutical company or certain drugs. So what these companies were doing was, I went to their back office and they used to get these photos. Someone would WhatsApp them the photo and they would print it out and then they will manually do the entry in Excel. Okay, this is the pharmaceutical inventory management or SAP, whatever they had. He said, okay, I realized this is happening with every company, right? So now what happens is rather than going and say, I'll manage your IT or I'll make an app for you or you have to go and say, hey, you are a pharmaceutical. You have to do a track record of every pharmaceutical drug to do compliance. And you are spending, probably have 2 people doing this job, which is costing you 7 lakh rupees a month because you have 2 people in a high income country. What that means is we can do this thing for 70,000 rupees per month. So it's a particular persona, particular message, but the insight comes from founder. When the market saturation is high, founder insights change the message. So now you can't do 100,000 email. You're doing in a batch of 500 emails for a particular persona. This is what will work for you. It determines how good the founder has figured out his market. Your insights matter, dear founder. Okay. Any other questions, guys? First of all, you know how difficult it is to get leads. Now, leads go cold, leads ghost on you, they don't convert into meetings. Why do this happen? And we'll talk about the second multiplier over here. See, what happens when you get a prospect who replies to you, this is what the prospect is saying. Show me the value. Every time you get a lead, it's not a lead, it's a second chance. First of all, stop calling it a lead. Why does this happen? Because in outbound, a cold reply means, I'm listening, show me what you got, buddy. This is what it's meaning. And my clients immediately resonate with it because they are buyers of someone else. Now they're like, exactly. This is what I mean when I reply. And why does this happen is because we live in a trust deficit world. What trust deficit world means? That many people have been burnt before, right? So college students, like BITS is a very good example. They have so many startups. They will go to large companies and say, I'll add $1 billion to your top line. So that person is getting emails from someone, every third person is saying $1 billion in your top line. So they don't trust anyone. So have some empathy for their target prospect. And if you have empathy for them, you will get dollars. They have been burnt before by everyone talking a big game. And that is why we sell in a skeptical world. So the biggest problem you're solving is not what gets you reply, how you can build trust. So you have to fill in the trust deficit. Second is resource conservation. Resource conservation is people are overwhelmed. They don't want to waste time. Prospects don't want to waste a second of their time, mental focus, especially on a salesperson. Salesperson do not have good sales record. And as a founder, if you're going to sell your stuff, you are a salesperson. So A, people don't trust you. Your target market doesn't trust you. Second, they want to save their time because they like, there's so many emails. And last 7 calls I went to were all bullshit. And they have been following up with me. And everyone is an AI vendor these days. And all AI vendors want meetings. Everyone is selling AI. And also I ask my clients, because my clients sell things. I'm like, dude, can you sell $50,000 suite? Even if you're selling a pilot, can you sell $50,000 worth of suite in 20 minutes? They're just saying, hey, can we have a quick meeting? The wrong expectation. You're just sounding desperate. So basically this model doesn't work. So even if you figure out these two things, last thing happens is they forget. So give them a reason to engage. Give them a reason to remember. Visualize enough value for them that makes them ask for a demo or an intro meeting. And yes, it's not easy because you have to deliver work. So the second multiplier for getting replies is low friction call to actions. What is low friction call to action? Low friction call to action is instead in the cold email, if you ask for a meeting, you will never get a meeting. Ask for, say, hey, can I share a custom strategy or a sample report? Because what that's saying is, if someone says yes to a custom strategy or a PDF, you can glance through a PDF in 5 minutes. So if a prospect says yes, send me some information, what he has just committed to is just 2 or 5 minutes, okay? Which any prospects can do if your messaging is good enough. Or if you are a SaaS company, offer industry-specific demo video. If you are very high touch, like you sell really enterprise $1 million deals, so you might even say, can I send a personalized video business case? The thing is, if you deliver value, impact, more prospects will engage with you. So you say to them, hey, can I share something? They say yes, and now you deliver something, things will happen. The precursor to making any offer is that your competence to deliver results. If you have high churn, that means your customer don't stay with you. You don't have a marketing problem, you have a business problem, that your shit doesn't work. So you have to make sure you have the competence to deliver results because this will matter. What we do, I'll give you an example. We are a services company. We share sample-free work done for prospects. We use Clay AI or few custom GPTs, and we send them a PDF that tells you, hey, I understand your company. I think you should target IP law firms. You should target R&D companies. You should target CTOs, this. And I have made a free sample email for you that you can use. So we mention their client. The trick is, if I call your name, you will start to listen. If someone calls your client's name also, you will start to listen. So in the email, what we figured out, we go on the company's website. And this is about understanding the market. And this is where the founder insights are required. We mention their own client. We figure out from their website who their client is. We say, now if your client was not your client and you were prospecting them because they are your whale, this is the email that you should send. And people instantly connect. And then we say, hey, this message is written by a junior consultant. And imagine if Akshat Kharbanda wrote it. Why do we do that? Because we live in a world, not only it's a skeptical world, but your unique selling proposition will get copied. Every marketing consultant over here, the insights I have, they will go and use it. And they will make it their own marketing material. So everything gets copied. How do you stand out? How do I consistently stand out even after giving value? The answer is you make effort and smartness your lead engagement USP. And here's the trick. This is the thought exercise. Imagine a client pays you $50,000. Okay? Imagine. This is a client, he came, he wrote me a $50,000 check and he said, give me a PDF that I can skim in 5 minutes. But there are two things. You can't ask me questions. You have to do your online research. And you can't talk about yourself, okay, buy BizAmps service. You have to talk about just value that a technology or a new process provides. So you just have to do that. Now, when you think of this, you will get the answer of what you should offer in the cold email. For services, it's generally the strategy and the execution plan. For SaaS company, it is generally a business case for a new tech adoption plus demo video. So depending on what you're selling, the question for you is, if this is the document, which is $50,000 worth of value, what will your insights contain in that document? And how will you structure and visualize the whole thing for maximum impact? Okay, you get one shot. This is how we do it. We have a lead magnet delivery. So we create the teaser creation software, what we call it, is simply Clay. If you're like AI agent, go figure out their client, pick a potential client, write a message in Akshat's tone. I have trained AI to do that. And then we have a custom GPT. That's after we make the PDF, we have a custom GPT that scores if the message is good or critiques it and fixes it, and then we send it. We say, hey, you target these people. This is your PDF. And now what will happen? Some people will come to you with complaints. Say, your target market was a little off. Your message was a little generic. Be ready for it. When you're doing something at scale, some quality will go down. So you have to budget that thing in mind. So you just say, own the complaint. So when we say, hey man, I'm sorry, most people don't read the PDF that we sent. Let me make a new PDF and send it to you. I'm making the PDF much more better. Because I know there's a prospect who reads the content I sent him. So he's a buyer who is open. So this is what you need to know. Your leads do not engage, they ghost you because they are not a lead, they are a second chance. Now you have to show them effort and value. And if you give them little effort, little value, they will ignore you. They will ghost you because this is what you're doing. Ultimately, when a lead comes, you're like, hey, come on a call. You add no value, you have no effort. In fact, you're asking effort from them. And you're asking their information, asking them value. Now, if you give them a lot of effort in your content and there's no value, they will reply because they see you have put in effort, but they reply will be like, no. If you put more value, full effort, then you will get replies. And it takes some time to get there. So value delivery, this value delivery is not a binary. It's valuable or not valuable. It's how valuable it is. For example, when we send a message, a PDF, we can send one message. If I have to over-deliver, rather than giving them one message they can use, if they have 10 different industries, I give them 10 different messages. Now the person, they have given me 10 different messages for 10 different industries. There's more effort. And this is very important if you're selling it to enterprise prospects. Enterprise prospects is any company in US where the revenue they are doing is $50 million. Generally, I call them enterprise because they're hard to crack. So you remember the prospect shouting at us, Tom Cruise shouting at us, hey, show me the value. We have given him value now. When you use low friction call to action, you will go from no replies to consistent replies. And even if 20% of the leads see value in the content you share afterwards, it's a game changer because your deal sizes are very large. And now you have a pool of qualified leads that you can nurture over time. And you have a clear reason to follow up. Hey, what did you think of my content? What do you think? So you will get feedback. So you will engage. And if they see great effort, they will reciprocate and put the effort to reply. And now you are breaking through with value-driven outreach. Because most clients come to me, hey, Akshat, we want to add value. But how? This is how you do that. Questions? Now what happens is when you send people low friction call to action, you give them content, you give them PDF, they come on a meeting. But the meetings don't tell you much. They keep their camera off and they question their value and they try to size you up. So when you have a meeting, have this happen to you, prospect keep their camera off and not talking much? The prospect is playing a game of negotiation. He has figured out a pattern. I keep silent. The salespeople show me the best stuff and he has used this as an information leverage. Okay, so we want to play the prospects game. You're like, you want to see value, we'll share value before the meeting. Okay, so this is the third multiplier, and this is the biggest multiplier. This is the multiplier if you have all the money you wasted till now in marketing, this will recover this money. Okay, so this is a meme where the salesperson goes to the marketing person and say, hey, can I have just one hot lead? Just one hot lead, man. And this is what the founders say to the marketing, just one hot lead. And why does this happen? And if the company is large, the CEO would ask, they have marketing department, they will ask the marketing person and the salespeople, hey, are you guys two friends? And they'll say, no, we're not friends. Marketing will say, yes, we are friends. Sales will say, no, none of their leads are good. And the reason for that is there is a missing piece in the puzzle. This piece you fill, you will, once you fill this piece of the puzzle, now things change, value. This is an interesting story. So this is a neighborhood in Canada. And what they did was, there was this insurance company tied up with a Porsche dealership. And they wanted to sell Porsche car on finance, not insurance company, finance company, because people buy on EMI. So this company, they started parking Porsche in front of the driveway, in front of the house of the people they wanted to sell, because there was celebrities there. And they would have a person who will click a photo, and then they will make a postcard on the spot in the van and give that postcard, put it in the house. Okay, this is what your driveway looks like. It's closer than you think. And what they figured out was, doing this, for every 100 postcards they sent, 33% came on the website. And now they could retarget them. So affluent people, they pixeled, the people who know, they pixeled affluent people and they could retarget them with their ads. So a very successful campaign. And this shows the power of visualization. The prospect, if the prospect can experience what it looks like with you to have your stuff, it works. And what I say, if they were doing cold outreach for a different $100,000 product, the product here was Porsche. But they were doing cold outreach back in, I think the 12 years back. But it was a very successful thing that they did. And what I realized was that prospect experience moves the demand curve by 10x. So prospect experience. Basic economics 101, supply demand. So supply demand curve happen on an axis. One is price axis. The more you price, the less you sell. The less you price, the more you sell. So it's a price and quantity sold. This is a basic economics curve, supply and demand. Your demand curves are something like this. Demand curve, more you price, lower the demand curve. In COVID, the demand curve of masks, face masks, moved right. Everyone wanted a mask. The environment changed. So at same price, you could sell 100 times more quantities, right? So the more your demand curve is to the right, the more revenue you make. AI came in the picture in 1950s. The inherent demand of AI in companies or enterprises was something like this. Even at the lowest price AI, like you were selling AI service at the lowest price, only limited quantities you could sell of your service, of your staff augmentation. But what happened? ChatGPT came and the demand curve moved. So you guys also have a demand curve. I don't have enough space, but it would be, if it would be space, it would go to, I don't know, New Chandigarh. It would go that far. It moved 10x. What happened over here? So in November 2020, when ChatGPT launched, people saw and experienced value. They developed trust. They imagined usage. Marketers thought where marketing they can use, in accounting thought where accounting they can use. Everyone thought they can use it for email writing. Overnight, demand came in the pictures. Budgets magically appeared. $1 trillion of budget came out of thin air. There was no budget of AI ever. I go and ask my clients, where is the right timing? Most of my clients say, when we get a client, when the timing is right, when something is happening. I'm like, where was the right timing over here? Tell me. There was no right timing. And how many salespeople it took? Like, how many salespeople did it take to do this? Not many, na? I say it's always the right time to be 10x and more efficient and effective. And whole world decided overnight, if something is 10x more efficient, we will put in the budget. Overnight budgets came on picture. And by the way, why the demand curve matters, and we'll talk how you can move your demand curve. Every point in the demand curve tells your potential revenue. So this is price, quantity sold. So the more your demand curve moves here, the total potential revenue goes up, because that means at this price you can sell this many quantity. Okay? So the more you move it to the right, that means at higher prices you can sell even higher quantities. So that's why you want to move the demand curve. So this is a sample image of a software selling stuff. From one image, I can tell which CRM their customers use, which payment method they use. I can see a lot of stuff and I can figure out if it's for me or not. Prospects are very smart. When you send them a cold email, if they like the content, they visit a website and they view your screenshot and demos. Your prospects are very smart. They visualize the possible outcomes and your user experience of your tool. The moment they do that, they immediately go and check pricing. We are a service company. We do publish pricing online. They check for pricing because they don't want to be sticker shocked. If they see good value, they see good pricing, you get replies. And you get a meeting. So understanding how your buyers buy is very important. If I had no money, and knowing this for 10 years, if I had no money and I had to build my sales engine, this is what my steps would. I will just take two things. First thing I'll do, I'll perfect a video that converts skeptics. I know people don't trust me, great. But the good thing is they don't trust my competitors either. So why I'll make the video? Because I don't want to be a modern snake oil salesman. Do you know what snake oil salesmen used to do? The story behind snake oil salesman is when people said this is oil derived from snakes, it can cure all diseases. If you have a rash, it will cure. If you have a headache, it will cure everything. So people who gave this bullshit products that this thing can solve everything, like IT services, they're like, just tell us the problem, we can solve everything. Everyone today is a modern snake oil salesman, especially the one who are selling AI, people like me, okay? And what happens is when I have no money, I can't have salespeople. So salespeople are unaffordable. How would I go about it? And let's say even if I get a client, I'll be focused on the client, I can't sell. So I need to make sure that selling must scale without me or expensive team because I can't scale. I don't have the money, I don't have the margins yet. What I'll do is I'll invest some money out of my cash reserve. Putting an event together like this and everything would cost me $1,500 or something. I'll record a keynote in front of a live audience for credibility or for multiple purposes. And the idea of the information is to have the information have high value per second information so that when I go ask for my consulting money, they have a reason why they should pay me. Also, if I have a video that sells, I'm not dependent on a team to sell. The problem with old people and why new people are killing them is old people are in the recruiting business. They find a salesperson, they hire a salesperson, they try to retain a salesperson. New businesses don't do that. So that business of finding, hiring, retaining, HR business is a recruiting business. You don't want to be in that business. Very costly. If the only one thing I'll focus on will be a video like this will be my lead domino. So once I have this video, I'll find a pitch that gets me replies. I'll build my own lead list. I'll message people on email, LinkedIn calling. I'll probably generate 50 leads in 6 months. Using that, I'll onboard my 4 clients. Some people might ask, okay, 6 months, 50 leads, 4 clients, that maths does not work. Initially, you will have higher conversion rate when you can convert 50 leads into 4 clients is because you have focus. And focus beats scale. And what happens is conversions follow precision, then volume. Your answer where you were saying this also acts as a vetting tool. It acts as a vetting tool for me to the client and the client to me. This is why it works as a vetting tool. Especially if you're a IT service provider or a tool or a software, every client will say, hey, in his mind, he will not tell to you. He'll say, this is just another marketing provider, just another IT provider, just another CRM tool. You lost sale when this thought came in his mind. Now, there are 2 main mediums in B2B, services and SaaS. For example, SaaS is bought with eyes. I'll give you an example. Everyone over here, SaaS tool is a software as a service, has experienced software where you click a bunch of buttons, something happens, and you get value. You don't hear anything. It's a mouse and keyboard activity. It's a visual activity on the screen. In SaaS, I tell to clients, make one video. Just make one video where you say, someone paid you $50,000. You have a tool, great. I paid you $50,000. Show me the maximum value you can get out of this tool. You know the tool, you know all the features, $50,000. $50,000 value showcase, achieve the highest impact using your feature suite because you say, I have the biggest feature suite. Show me the highest impact. Why? Because the problem with SaaS companies is they get into this problem of feature-rich platform trap. Every founder, that SaaS founder I know, they're like, our product has so many features. And in India, there's so much IT development team, you can make a feature every 6 months, every 3 months. So feature development doesn't work now. It's a platform trap. So you have to have a use case demo with popular integration. For example, with me. the accountants would really care about QuickBooks integration, Tally integration, Excel integration. Whereas someone like me, even if you're selling AI agents, I really care about HubSpot integration, different kind of integration I care about. So show the use case of that industry with popular integration. So basically have industry-wise recorded demo videos and teasers. Or if you are someone like some SaaS tools are like, if we give you the output, like our report is the main thing. In that case, share the sample report, which also works as lead magnet. In services, if you hear someone talk, you kind of say, okay, is a first class student or a 10th class student. In services, the problem is you have to convert the intangible knowledge into tangible. So in services, what you can do, when the word of mouth has not spread, you create your proprietary frameworks. Like I have my own proprietary frameworks that I've seen: market storage, grid, department view, etc. And even in industry like BPO, I had a BPO client. I'm like, make your framework how your BPO approaches the core delivery of the work that is different and gets the outcome. Anonymous client stories. Anonymous client stories is when someone is selling data analytics. I remember a client telling me he sells data analytics. He's like, Keta, when I go, the problem is the person who is buying data analytics, he has the budget for data analytics, but the problem in his basement is he messed up the ERP integration. So he won't tell me, and what I have to hear if I want to close the sale, hey, I have to check their ERP, and if their ERP integration is screwed up, I have to kindly tell them. I have to kind of frame it in a way, hey, we will do data analytics and we'll do all this. But if there is a problem in ERP, we will revamp it. And what the CIO is thinking, I can't go to the CEO and tell, okay, I screwed up the ERP integration that we bought for $1 million. And that has screwed. So this guy will say data analytics, so I'll take the budget from CEO for data analytics, but I'll fix my ERP integration. So these are anonymous client stories that give deep insights in the problem. And now people are like, who will take you in the corner, hey, I have this problem, Akshat. This is how things start. An example, Product Hunt is a website for products. They understand products, and the way they work is it's very visual. From the screenshot, you can tell me what the tool is, partly, right? Salesforce enterprise selling, on the homepage, they have given the demo because they know this is what people are buying. And this is a very big problem with me. Most of my clients have come to me, Akshat, I'm enterprise SaaS. And they say, Akshat, enterprise SaaS is different, we don't do demo like this, We have to have a solutioning team. We have to have solutions first need to be pre-sales and solutioning. I'm like, bullshit. Multi-million-dollar implementation. This is SAP. Multi-million-dollar. Ungated, you can go on their website and check out all their demos. CrowdStrike, the company who brought down the whole airline industry for one day. You can't get more enterprise than that. AI, their latest AI is ungated on their website. They know the buyer. Assume they know the buyer. Now, for products, these are the visuals. If services, generally hearing gets you the stuff, but if you're doing visuals, it is people, not product. That is why the keynote, okay? People hear to you when they see other people are hearing to you, okay? Or you can use testimonials, they also work, okay? In the services, value showcase, medium, the medium is hearing and reading. Your goal is to gain mind space with proprietary frameworks as prospects are always buying. See, some of you might be thinking, if my company gets big, I'll use Akshat in this small thing, but this is where his strength is. You're already buying. Where Akshat, he will use Akshat or not. You're mentally already buying. Everyone is already buying. So what our job is to get mind space in the brain, because this is the key thing. Mind space is more important than meetings. See, and this has happened with everyone. What has happened was, you had a meeting with someone, sales meeting, but then you started chasing the person. You started chasing the money, right? And that person goes away. But everyone has also experienced that someone heard you somewhere, someone saw you somewhere, or someone experienced your product somewhere, and they chased you down when they had a new company. So if you do a meeting, you have to chase money down. But if you are in the mind space of someone else, money will chase you. Very different thought process. Yeah. Theory of Constraint, a very famous framework. This guy charges 20 lakh rupees per consulting fee and profit on top of it. The idea is his concept of theory of constraint once it gets in your mind space, once you read the concept and once you start looking at the world like this, it never gets out of your head. He was an Israel person who found a way how to optimize fighter jets maintenance, and he then applied to the whole business world. But he gained the mind space of the world. Now this is my question to you. What would happen if your total addressable market, imagine your total addressable market of 100,000 or all the people that can buy from you in the world, if you're a SaaS company, they saw your demo teaser. If you're a services company, they saw your keynote presentation. What would happen? And if you keep making these videos, what would happen? If you keep promoting them, wouldn't that make winning inevitable? Where the people will start from trusting you, you will have their mind space and they chase you. And then you share your teasers or videos. So what we have discussed is your materials, the message you have, the PDF you send, the video you make. Now this is how it all plays together. The quality of your material influences the buyer. So this is what I call the buying psychograph. This is your generic sales funnel, awareness to decision make. This is the buyer qualification. Buyer qualification milestones. This is a very interesting concept. Most clients, when I get a prospect, they come to me and say, I want qualified lead, Akshat. I want people who are ready to buy. I'm like, no, you don't qualify them. The buyer qualifies you. You are not in power. If the buyer qualifies you, you are good enough, they will buy from you. But if your qualification doesn't matter, once they qualify, they have to buy from you. Now you can qualify them. See, the idea of qualification is not an outbound concept. This is a very big thing. Idea of this qualification is an inbound concept. When OpenAI started and they got famous, they got, 10,000 leads in a day. They have a big problem to qualify who to talk to, who not to talk to. That is a qualification problem. You have so much demand. How do you qualify to focus attention? If you don't have demand, you don't have a qualification problem. You have a demand problem. As buyer qualifies you, the more chances of him paying you. So now the first thing is he replies to your lead magnet. And this is what we call a marketing qualified lead. And once you send them the PDF or your demo teaser or whatever the thing is, if they like that content, then they move up. So they move up and you move forward. So when they become a lead, they're not aware of you. This is the thing. That is why I say don't call them a lead. They're not aware of you. Once they like the PDF, then they are aware of you, and barely. And if someone asks, how do you ensure they will read the PDF? Because you will do follow-ups. This is the key thing. This is the multiplier. Once they like their keynote or key video or your impact, like how your tool adds impact, then they become interested. Then you have a meeting with them. And if in the meeting, if they like the offer, if the offer is good enough, then they consider you, then they are an inbound lead. Marketing gives this, leads that below awareness. Salespeople are used to this, inbound leads. And when you give an inbound person this kind of lead, the sales fight with marketing. And sales say, marketing is not my friend, just fire the whole department, pay me the money. So someone needs to bridge this lead quality gap. This is the lead quality gap. To get the person aware and interested, and now sales can pull it up. This is the whole issue. Every angle is like how good is your message market fit, how impactful is the presentation, etc. For every angle of this to work, you need to deliver competent core value. So this is how it works. Now what we do, we work with a client and generally we see where they are lacking the most. Whichever point they're lacking, we prioritize and incentivize that. Okay, now this is the interesting point. Imagine this line. This is a red, it goes from red, orange, green, blue. I'll remove everything and I'll turn the line like this. So this is a red line all the way to blue. I have inverted it. And if I make a mirror image, this becomes a funnel. So your buying psychograph is basically your funnel. And you go through a leads, and if you have 100 leads and only 2 convert, and less than 2 convert, then your numbers is bad than this. This means at every stage you're losing 50% of the people. Even if you do that, you should be converting 2 leads. When, as a business owner, you ask how much time will it take? It takes 2.5 months to make a lead generation, lead to lead engagement, to convert it into interested. So it takes 3 months for every stage. Why we are making this funnel is ultimately so that it can convert marketing leads into sales leads. Once you can convert cold marketing leads into sales leads, now you can 10x your business, because now if you 10x your leads, you will 10x your business. The businesses don't go 10x because your funnel is like this. It gets closed. It doesn't convert. So if you 10x the leads, it doesn't work. So in 1 year, you do 3 rounds of optimization. You get it. The project plan on how you can do it in-house is on BizAmps.com Buildout. So basically, create your keynote presentation, because when your recession will come, which will come, you should have your evergreen revenue assets. And all marketing can be clipped out of one keynote. I'll build 100 ads. I'll have 100 outreach angles. I'll make organic content that I can post on LinkedIn, follow-ups. One presentation, I'll clip everything out. For new service firms, this also acts as a theory of a firm, why you exist. If a service firm is struggling because they don't have a theory, they're just selling generic stuff. So what is the theory of why you exist? One keynote creates everything, just start. And when you're making the keynote, this is the slide template. You say problem in client's words, underlying reason. If you're a SaaS company, it's your demo or framework. Okay, now how all of this converts into money. So how all frameworks come together to convert into money. And this is especially true if you're selling to enterprises and you claim you're high quality and you're premium price. If you just do 2 value deliveries, that will move your demand curve. If you just do 2 value deliveries and there are 3 offers, I did not mention offers because offers is very easy. Claiming I can do something is very easy. Doing something is hard. Your inherent demand is this. Even if you lower the price, you can't sell stuff. What you do is how you pull it forward. First thing, you have your lead magnet. Now you are asking people, hey, can you give me 5 minutes? I'll share something of value. A little bit more people come in your funnel. Then you deliver value, a helpful value. Then a lot more, oh, this person can actually do stuff. Then you say, hey, can you see this 40-minute video presentation? Now, if you have delivered value over here, he's like, okay, send me the video presentation. I think you can go give me good stuff. And when you give the value presentation, now all the people are ready to buy from you. So even at high prices, much more quantities of that can be sold. Last is after you deliver so much value, then you make a money request with low pilot risk, and now you can sell stuff. The key thing is 2 value deliveries. There are 2 value deliveries. You do this, you make these 3 offers good, you will move your money curve. Over delivering at every stage. If you deliver at those 2 places, the next offer becomes easy because people trust that you can do stuff. Now, this is the key thing. Once you have a system like this, now you put salespeople on top of it. Now you put marketing agencies on top of it. Why marketing doesn't work? Because there's no system, there's no insights. They can't convert cold lead into warm. Now, once you have this, then you can scale with any kind of marketing, ads, press releases, email. If you don't know this shit, this is what I call you pay a time penalty. The time penalty is called we didn't know, or aka lost opportunity. Ultimately, this is all it looks like. You send a PDF, you send a video, but this is how much thought it goes into it. The next is the final slide, how you can scale this thing to the total addressable market and how you can convert the old marketing wastage. This is what I call my demand generation or keynote distribution plan. Most people who do content, they bullshit. There's no substance, there's no hardcore on-ground stuff. There's just ChatGPT giving out more ChatGPT content. So SDS is substance. You should have substance and then you distribute. So you make a landing page, you cut down the video. Basically what you do is once you have a video like this, you reach out to all your old deals that did not convert. You reach out to old prospects, you reach out to old CRM, one big deal converts, all your money sorted. So all your old leads in your CRM starts to effectively convert. So all the money you spend in previous marketing agencies, you share a video like this, you share information like this, now they start to convert. And then you can scale. You can do cold outreach with multiple accounts. You can clip it into content, post 100 content in other places. Then once you're done with content, you can do ads, upload your lead list in LinkedIn ads, scale it. You can go to Facebook, you can go to AdRoll, you can go to YouTube, you can put your video before the video of a very enterprise product to get some marketing, etc. Email distribution system, the people who understand email infra would know over here. So you can do an email infra. So ultimately what happens is, this is how you convert a negative ROI marketing department into a $100,000 demand generation department. And this is a build out. And the project plan can be here. And I can't cover the demand conversion part of it. You subscribe to my YouTube channel. But this is what it comes out to be. You move the demand curve. It acts as a funnel, you put it in a sheet, you do the task that I have given it to you, and you are able to generate demand and convert it. So, guys, that was it. Thank you for being a great audience.